So, Shaun, from maybe 6 weeks ago, it didn't look like you might be back with a proper two-man team. Now you've got a new title sponsor, 2 new riders, all done in quite a short space of time, and a new 2-year deal with Yamaha. You must be fairly happy.
Yeah, it's been, very, wasn't that positive an end to the season for us results-wise. We didn't get what we'd expected or hoped for. If you think finishing third was, a good result. Considering we won it the year before, it was a little disappointing. I felt really sorry for Tommy. Really put a lot of effort in and didn't quite pay off. But yeah, from probably towards the end of the race season, we knew discussions with title sponsors was going to be pivotal in us being able to move forward. And we got a pretty early indication from our current or outgoing title sponsor that they wouldn't be able to continue, and the search began in earnest at that point in time. And yeah, great to announce Milwaukee coming on board.
Milwaukee will be a name not known to many people in this country. Who are they? What do they do?
Well, Milwaukee will be known to people within the construction industry, which is probably my background as well. So, they're a high-end power tool supplier. They're very, very prominent within the construction industry. The man on the street, the builder, the workers, the labourers as such. They're a power tool that are readily available. They're a battery power tool and a cord power tool. And as I say, the discussion started off probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago. We found that there was a lot of common interests and common goals. They're a fresh, vibrant new brand. They're expanding into the UK marketplace quite heavily at the moment, and they felt it was a good opportunity to get involved with ourselves and Yamaha and use BSB and the TT as a marketing platform.
James Ellison, back in British Superbikes for 2013. It's not been long since you departed the Paul Bird MotoGP team. You've now signed for Milwaukee Yamaha. How did it come about?
Well, as you know, from a few press releases and internet and all that kind of stuff, I was released from the team leading up to Valencia. So I thought, I'm going to have to get something lined up for next year. So the first person I rang really was Shaun. But I did contact a few teams just in case, things didn't quite work out and I had some backup plans or whatever. But Shaun was the first person that I rang. I've been with the team twice before, and we've had 2 really good seasons with each other. And I knew it was the best team in the championship. I didn't realise I would end up getting the ride. To be fair, I thought I was just going to pick up the scraps, with everything being so late. But no, it's worked out really well. So yeah, we just kept in contact for the last month, and we finally signed a deal. So looking forward to it.
You're bringing some of your crew back to SMR from the Paul Bird squad? Yeah,
well, Mick Shanley's obviously there. He's my crew chief again, which is mega. That was just ideal situation really to come back with Shaun and have Mick as well. I think Mick would have been in the team regardless. He's always got on with Shaun. He's been with the SMR team since the start. So yeah, but it just makes a big difference. He knows me, I know him. He knows how I work. He knows how to get the best out of me, which I feel is what we did this year. So yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
Are you expecting much in the way of difference between the 2009 R1 you rode
and the one now? Massive. I've sat on it and it's a lot smaller. The tank's smaller, the fuel tank's in a different place, the handlebars are closer together, and this is all little things that I was after when I was in 2009. We got the bikes, as you know, on the Thursday before the race. There was no testing done. And I got on it and it was massive. For Leon it fit in perfectly. So it took me a little bit of a while to kind of adapt my style and before we could start challenging for wins. But this bike now seems a lot smaller, and I know obviously it's an improved version of the 09 bike anyway, so it's not going to be any worse, and we had a fantastic season, so hopefully yeah, we're going to have some good results.
Do you have any experience of the Motec ECU that you'll be using?
No, the standard one, not yet. That's the one thing I said to Shaun, I could do with doing a lot of riding. I've had a year now on different tyres, on a different machinery, out in the world circuit, so I said, look, we need to just do some testing when I get back. So he said, we can go out and ride it as much as we want, basically, or even take a Superstock bike out and get used to not riding with traction control again. And I used to favour that anyway. I never used to like traction control. It's taken me a few years to really adapt and trust in it. Kind of open the throttle full and let the traction do the work and let Mick do his job. But I think now it's more down to throttle control, which is what I prefer. So I think once I've got enough miles under my belt, I'll actually prefer it. But certainly it's going to take a while to get used to again.
Do you think it'll take you much time to adjust back from the carbon brakes and the Bridgestone tyres, or will it almost be kind of like riding a push bike?
Yeah, I think it's just like riding a push bike, really. I mean, it did take a while to get used to the stuff this year, but going back to it, it's like anything. It's like just muscle memory. You know, if you're used to doing something, you've done it before. Just take a bit of riding and it'll all come back to you. So yeah, I mean, we rode with steel brakes in the rain as well, and I still prefer the steel brakes. It's just, you know, you can understand the feel better. It's more uniform. You know, with a carbon disc, you hit the brakes, there's absolutely zero there until they grab. So at least with these, it's quite consistent. You know, the more you squeeze, the more they work. The more you release, the less they work, and it's just dead simple. So yeah, I think we just take a bit of time to get used to the Pirellis moving around a bit more, but it'll be fine. You know, I like the bike moving around. I prefer it to kind of buck and weave and slide and drift and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
And again, it's another pretty strong field in BSB for 2013. Who do you think your main challengers will be?
Easy. Shaky and Brooks, I reckon. Yeah, they're the strongest contenders. There's a couple of lads there that are super fast at some rounds, but they're the most consistent. You know, for the championship, which is what we're going for this year. You know, we're going in it to try and get that championship, and I think those two were going to be the hardest contenders in it.
You've got a teammate, Josh Waters, who's new to BSB. What do you know about Josh? Anything?
He's Australian. That's about it.
That's it.
Nice kid. I met him out at Phillip Island. Yeah, he's cool. He seems alright, and from what I've heard, he's a fast rider as well. I mean, we don't get to see any of the Australian championships, so I've not been ignorant with it or anything, but I just haven't seen any results. But I have heard he's quick on the grapevine, and he was out testing in Oregon, I think, with the World Superbike lads, and yeah, apparently everyone was quite impressed. So it's good to have somebody quick, and I think if he gets on with the circuits over here, he'll be a hard challenger.
You've got Josh Waters, Australian Superbike champion. How did that deal come around?
Simple, really. I've always made noises that we think the pairings of our team are really important to a successful championship challenge. I looked at quite a number of riders. We would have liked to have retained Tommy. That was a given right from day one. It's been quite difficult for us to get someone that can replicate the amount of wins that Tommy's had and has got that familiarity that Tommy's had. So to get the right pairings was quite difficult to start with, and we wanted someone quite young. We wanted someone that we could work with going forwards, that would stay with us for a couple of seasons, that also, that really was hungry as hell for the challenge. And a number of discussions I made with Josh, identified that he was A, the right age group, B, he was already a champion, he's used to winning, he's got a winning mentality, and that's really important in this team. There's a few little added extras that come with Josh, the fact that he's got a little bit of World Superbike experience, he's got a lot of experience at Suzuka. He's probably the fastest non-Japanese rider at Suzuka currently, and that's no mean feat. If you can do that, you can turn that on any major circuit.
I've always wanted to race overseas, and after I've been with Suzuki in Australia for many years, and after unfortunately some things didn't work out, I had a chance to race over in the World Championship. Then I can totally understand the reason why they went their direction, but I had to kind of look after that because I want to try and make this next step. So I made contact with. I looked around at the good BSB teams, and I made contact with Shaun, and after a little bit he come back, and yeah, it all started from there. But it's happened really fast, so can't wait.
And you flew in here on
yesterday.
Yesterday.
So yeah, I landed yesterday afternoon, and feeling okay at the minute.
You're not quite asleep yet.
Nah, not yet. So probably about 3 o'clock.
You said to me just now that you've looked at all the British Superbike tracks and you've been doing your homework. How different are they to the 3 or 4 tracks that you race in Australia? Obviously, Phillip Island's a different kettle of fish, but the other smaller tracks in Australia.
Some of the circuits we race on in Australia, like are tight and so on. So I see. I'm a realist. I know that I'm going to have to work my butt off to be successful over here, and I'm prepared to do that. So I want to. Come. I know every track's different kind of thing, but I believe there's some tracks in Australia that maybe are a little bit similar, but I know that I have to work my butt off, and I'm prepared to do that.
I mean, there are a couple of peculiar tracks in the UK, in particular Cadwell Park and the Mountain. Your compatriot, Mr. Brooks, is a bit of a superstar over there. Do you have a motocross background, or are you a road racer?
Dirt track. So, yeah, I never really got into motocross. I did more dirt track, the Australian style, and the town that I'm from is really popular for speedway. So I did speedway while I was young. I've still got a speedway bike that I mess around on at home.
How did you get from speedway up to the Australian Superbike Championship?
So when I was 15, because in Australia you weren't allowed to road race until after 15, so I started then and raced the 125 when I was 16, and then went to the Supersport bike, rode a couple of years for Kawasaki, and then moved to Suzuki. I've been with Suzuki, I think this is my 7th year, so now I'm with Milwaukee Yamaha team for the 2013 season. I'm looking forward to it.
Did you do Supersport, Superstock, and then into Superbike, or?
Nah, just Supersport, and then moved to Superbike. And my first year was 09 on the Superbike, and for the team, and I was lucky enough to win. So I tried really hard, and it worked out.
So in between your 2 Superbike titles, you went to America for a little while.
Yeah, I went. My reward off Suzuki was I got to go and do a test in the AMA, and went not too bad at the test, and then unfortunately one of their riders got injured, so I got the call up to go and race, and had a bit of a crash at a test prior to the race the week before, and had to have 3 months off after I was put in induced coma and wasn't allowed to do much. So that I even last year, for a lot of the year, I don't think I felt right, and the end of last year was great, and then the start of this year was really good, and it all worked out for me.
You're going to go from a very sunny Australia to a fairly cold Gisborne.
Yep.
You'll live around where the team are based. Yep. Do you think it's going to be much of a culture shock to go from Australia to Middlesbrough?
For sure. Like the day on Thursday when I got on the plane at home, it was 45 degrees, and then I landed here yesterday and it was 0. So for sure it's going to be different, but I know that I've thought of this or dreamt of this kind of stuff for a long time, so I know that it's going to be hard and it's not going to be easy, but I'm prepared to take the challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. We don't have snow in where I live, so that's a good thing.
You have a very experienced teammate in the shape of James Ellison, so he should be able to help you with the track knowledge and that kind of thing. That must be make you feel a bit more secure about how you're going to get on this year. Yeah,
so I haven't met James yet. Hopefully he likes me. I think I'm pretty easy to get on with, so it'll be great to have an experienced teammate. I know in 09 when I moved up to the Superbikes back home, my teammate was very experienced also, and it worked for me, worked great. So I know James is going to be trying his hardest to win the championship. We all go in with the same goals, everyone on the grid does. So hopefully I can use his experience a little bit, and we can work together and make the bike better and try and win.
And I think by the last count you'll be one of 3 Australians on the Superbike grid, because there'll be Josh Brooks and Mark Aitchison as well. So obviously you'll be wanting to beat your countrymen. Yeah,
for sure, but you want to try and go as best you can, so I'm going to try my hardest. Hopefully I get on with the English-based circuits, and I'll just keep trying, and hopefully it's good enough.
I really relish in the challenge with Josh. Really, we're going to bring him, move him up north and near the workshops, and get him under our wing and give him a really good shot at this title. And my views with Josh is that he can have the same impact that John Hopkins did a couple of years back, and if we can get the best out of him, we'll then move on and upwards with him.